Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Hey, Kate.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Okay, so today we are talking about something that I'm sure is on your mind if you are considering getting into copywriting, or maybe if you've already, dipped your toes in a little bit. Specifically, we are talking about how much it costs to actually get started as a copywriter. Are you going to be investing thousands and thousands of dollars in office equipment and software and fax machines?
If you
Okay.
see my office, you can tell there's very little. So that's actually good news that there's not a lot you
A
need.
poster that says grit. That's about
Yeah,
it.
it's about it, which came free with it wasn't a purchase.
Yeah. So, spoiler alert, we'll kind of skip to the end before we come back and explain how we got there.
Yeah.
But the startup costs for being a copywriter are very, very little. I mean, obviously, you have to get training. You need to know how to write copy. So, we'll set that aside. But once you know how to write copy, to actually set up your business, you need a website. And you need, oh, that's it. You just need a website. You need a website. You need, which will cost you probably between 10 and 15 bucks a month for, whether you use Squarespace or Wix or Verb or Weebly, and there are a couple other ones. But that's really it. If you want to use Microsoft Word versus something else, you have to pay for Microsoft Word, but it's free? Google Docs. And Google Sheets to track your invoices and to track the pitches that you've sent. Other stuff, Kate.
Yeah, Dropbox is free to a certain amount as well. We recommend having some sort of cloud place to save all of your documents, which if you're in Google Docs anyway, they're already in the cloud, so you don't even have to worry about that. But the key being, and I've had it happen when you spill coffee or maybe a little bit of wine, a little bit of rosé in the summer, you're outside on your laptop working.
I don't know what you're talking about, Kate.
I still have, my screen has a little cloudy area where some type of liquid got on it. But anyway, that's why you want a cloud service.
I'm imagining you throwing a glass of wine at your screen.
Well, it's kind of like that. When don't put it close to your, I flail a lot even when which you wouldn't think, I'm just typing. But if, a client email comes back and you're like, what are they talking about? And the wine glass goes flying, it's splashed on the screen. Anyway, computer's fine, but past computers have not survived so well. And when you have tons of documents all saved locally, and especially if you use something like Word, you want to put those Word docs into the cloud. And so Dropbox is great because I think you get, I don't know how much for free. I have a ton in there and I still haven't had to pay for it yet, quite frankly. So, which is awesome. And same thing with Google Drive. So you can also I have stuff in Google Drive for my Google Docs, and you have so much space there that's for free. And then you can clear it out. I have years worth of stuff still, and I just started going back and I was like, hey, I should clean out my email. And it's not even close to hitting its storage limit.
Email's another free one, right?
Yeah,
you can set up a free Gmail account. You don't need a super special like so-and-so at nickicroswick.com. Oh, I guess it'd be Nicki at nickicroswick.com.
A lot of folks think you need a more professional email address ending, and that's not really the case. I mean, as long as you don't have your, AOL Instant Messenger screen name from 1990 as your email, like I think I had like Pluto 9487, like that's
the former planet, or the cartoon dog, or the
it was
the
I
god.
think it was both. I think I liked the planet because it was like the underdog planet, and I was like, I'm not a Disney fan. I don't know. Don't ask. It was the 90s, right?
Gotcha.
Or 2000. I don't know when that was. A long time ago.
But
so as long as you have a professional name,
exactly.
you're good.
If you want to spend the couple extra bucks to have, Nicki at xyzcopywriting.com, if xyzcopywriting.com is your portfolio site, then yeah, absolutely you can, but it's not an essential. No.
Yeah. I think it comes down to what you feel comfortable with your finances, and what you really truly say that's worth it or that's not. But for a lot of people who are just starting out and I need to make money and I left my job or whatever it is, you don't even need professional headshots right away. You can have someone take with a relatively plain and formal background, head on, dressed in something relatively presentable, then you're good. You don't want a shot of you in your pajamas laying on your bed, but You also don't need to shell out $300 to $600 for a session with a professional photographer. You can really get away with a lot until you start making money and then decide which of those things are a priority for you.
Absolutely. Our philosophy is when it comes to buying software or buying things for your business, it needs to pay for itself and then some, either in time or in money, in time saved or in literal, it earns you that money. If you're paying $50 for, I don't know, some invoicing program or something like that, it had better save you either $50 in time every month if it's a monthly cost, or it had better, make you more than $50 to pay for itself. Because most of the stuff, and you may get to the point where you're earning money regularly and you do want an invoicing program. There's some good ones like Wave and I think Bonsai and some other, but you don't need to start with them. Don't get into business and automatically think, okay, what do I have to invest in? What do I have to, because it can be tempting, right? To buy things that make us feel like professionals, Well,
and I think automation is a good thought. It's good to be thinking of what can save me time. But if learning the technology is going to take you longer than just doing it, which a lot of times it does, once you have your invoice template, which doesn't have to be fancy, you just repurpose for every client and shoot an email off, and it doesn't have to be long. Hey, here's your invoice. Let me know if you have any questions. That's what I do with my clients.
Exactly. That's what I did this morning. I went into my template, changed this into my Word template, my Word doc template, went in, changed things out, and then resent it on, or not resent it, but saved the new version and then sent it out to my client. Easy and free.
And I think a lot of folks think that, yes, if you have a beautiful proposal or template or invoice, does it add a nice touch of polish? Sure. Clients don't necessarily expect that or need or want that. So it's a nice to have. It's not a must have.
But also to that point, Canva is free. I mean, there's a paid level. There's a paid level with just about everything, right? But Canva is free. If it's important to you to send out a really great proposal, I would say with invoice, who cares? The job's already done. But if it's really...
and you're not a designer.
Yeah, right?
You're a copywriter.
Yeah. If it's really important, then, go to Canva and put something together in Canva. That's free.
Half the time, though, it ends up in someone's finance department, and the finance people certainly don't care.
Yeah, right?
They just want to see the number. They're like, okay, this is what I owe. Done.
Exactly. Well, and something to watch out for too is if you go online, you Google, what do I need as a freelancer, how to set up a freelance business. A lot of websites are going to come up, and a lot of them are going to have recommendations for software you need or services you need or all this kind of stuff. But bear in mind that a lot of those websites make money from you clicking on the link and signing up for those services. Just because there is a page online that suggests, or a website online that suggests these are the things that you need as a new freelancer, as a new freelance copywriter, that doesn't mean that you actually do. It doesn't mean that it's an unbiased recommendation of things that you need. Often they will be affiliate links and they're telling you you need them because when you click on them and purchase them through those links, they get money for that. So just bear in mind, if you're doing research, if you're looking for, what do I need or anything like that, or even if you're researching software programs for that matter, if you're thinking, okay, I've been working for a while and I do really just want a software program. Okay, fine. As long as you have the income to support that and it's going to save you that additional time.
Well, and at that point, if you've been working, you know what your problem is. I think too often we start out, there's actually no problem that needs solving. We're making problems for ourselves of feeling like we need to buy these things, but we don't actually have any idea what we need them for yet. We think we need them because down the line we might, and it might help set us up for the future, or because someone said we needed to. But the best thing is you can choose to buy that software down the line. Nothing is set in stone. And so I would highly recommend starting out, getting that work. Once you have a little income to spare, at that point, checking in, do I have any pain points, or is it just fine? Am I good? Do I even need any of this? I can tell you after 10 years, I still haven't bought, and call me cheap, but I haven't found a need. I don't mind spending 5 minutes shooting off an invoice. buying software is not going to help me. It's frankly going to take me probably more time to get that all set up and going.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, sometimes too, buying software can be a sign or can be a delay tactic.
Well, it's like fun. It's like, ooh,
it's
like a new
fun,
thing.
And it feels like you're making progress. Like, oh yeah, well, I have to work on my business. So today I'm going to sign up for QuickBooks, or I'm going to do this. But you're not actually making progress. You're just making a purchase. And frankly, too, you're probably adding something to your to-do list. A couple of years ago, I am not immune to this. A couple of years ago, I signed up for QuickBooks, dug in and went, I don't understand this. And it didn't work with my accounts the way it needed to, what I needed it to do. Okay, so basically, my Excel docs have always worked just fine. So I was looking for something to like give me that feeling of, I've been doing this for a long time, almost 20 years now, but still I was like, oh yeah, well, professionals use QuickBooks, so I should at least see what it's like. No, it was complicated, and I immediately canceled the subscription. The Excel doc makes sense to me. I can open it up very quickly too and add information. Or if you use Google Sheets, you can open it up from your phone. If you're out and about. It default to easy and default to free. And I love what you said, Kate, about do the easy and the free first, and then identify where or if there are any pain points that you need solved. Because if you try to do software first, you're going to end up on the system that may be totally unnecessary and maybe actually more complicated than if you had just been doing it in Word or Excel or Sheets or Docs or that kind of thing.
Well, and eating time away from the things you should be doing, which is pitching and building that portfolio site. Again, that one cost, which is the portfolio. And quite frankly, you can pitch clients without it first. We recommend, again, small business clients, folks that might not look for that portfolio right away. It is something you should have in your mind and be working towards. And you can do so much of that work on your own before deciding to purchase. I think on Squarespace and Wix, I'm almost positive you can start building and exploring and looking at the template you want to use and getting things in place so that when you are ready to put it live to the world and to have that cost, to incur that cost, you're ready to do so. But you can be doing a lot on the back end before hitting charge.
Yeah. And then really like the only other thing I could think of that would be maybe a possible is business cards. Someday we will be able to go out and about in the world and network with people. You may be able to go to events. You maybe just meet somebody at the grocery store who is interested in copywriting or interested in hiring a copywriter. It doesn't hurt to have, but here's another, don't make this mistake. Don't go buy 1,000.
Yes.
How many times
I still have some old ones.
I have like
wrong
6
phone
or
number,
7
wrong
different versions.
Email.
Yes. Or my style will change. This would have been the business card that I wanted then, and I'll buy 1,000 of them because then, oh, great, I'm all set. Yeah, exactly. Then, okay, then I never use them and I end up tossing them, or I'll buy it because I'm going to an event or a conference and I buy a ton of them and I give out, like maybe
5, 10.
Yeah, exactly. Like, all right, but it doesn't hurt to have them. Sites like moo.com and Vistaprint, and you can print. They have templates, so you can create great looking pieces, but you can also print up like 100, and that should keep you good for
a long time.
Yeah, I was going to say for me, several years.
Yeah.
But so that might be the only other thing that you might consider. It's just it doesn't hurt to have it. You can always, if you don't have one, you can. If you meet people out and about, you can give them your email address or get their email address or anything like that. But it certainly doesn't hurt. And if you have a little extra cash, I think you probably get 100 business cards for probably like $25. Don't quote me exactly, but I would guess that's probably right in the sweet spot.
Unless
there.
You go for the fancy paper, the letterpress, which I love letterpress, but man, they're
like
not
the extra
cheap.
thick ones.
Yeah, exactly.
If you need gold foil, it might be a little bit more.
I'm looking at the gold foil. I'm telling you. Anyway.
Well, you're fancy. You're fancy, Kate. You're fancy.
What can I say?
You deserve fancy business cards.
But you know what? I don't have a logo. That's another thing I want to point out too. I think we've touched on the fact that, resistance can come in many forms. And I think logo is one of the most common ones. You don't need one.
You don't need one. So yeah, first of all, the deciding on a logo and then deciding on a designer, paying a designer. You don't need to do that. Which actually is another point. I think people hear, oh, well, I need spec ads for my portfolio. Well, gosh, how much is it going to cost me to get a designer to make spec ads? No, that is not the point at all. When you are creating spec ads, the ideal scenario, the one that you should be aiming for, is to be working with, it's not free work. Nobody's doing free work, but you are looking for a designer who is at the same experience level that you are, that also needs spec ads for their portfolio. So when the two of you come together, that designer gets spec pieces with great copywriting. And actually, I've been looking at designers' websites recently, and there are a lot that really could use some good copywritten pieces. And then you, as a copywriter, get good design for your copy pieces. But the benefit to both of you is that you get spec pieces. So nobody's working for free, you're bartering. And so you're not hiring a designer to do those pieces for you. It's a symbiotic relationship, one that also then builds your network as both of you go out into the world and get work and then can refer each other.
And if you want more about spec ads, we've talked about it before in a previous episode, so go back and watch that. I think probably a couple of times. So
and we will continue to as well, because they're important.
I would also download Zoom when you get to the pitching stage. So if you have to take client meetings, sometimes your client will send their Zoom link and you don't even have to worry about yours. Yes, Zoom has a 40-minute limit for more than 2 participants, but more often than not, you might find that's perfectly fine. Quite frankly, I've had to say, excuse me, my time limit is running up. Do you mind coming back? That's happened one time and no one cared. Yeah. If you want to buy the non-free Zoom, again, wait till it becomes a problem to decide whether you need it or not.
Well, and then regarding Zoom, this is a little bit off topic, but a little quick tip I want to say before I forget it. Go into your Zoom and set it up so that it automatically records your calls. It's in your settings section. That way you don't have to, when you have a discovery call with a client or an input call with a client, it's probably even more useful on an input call, but both, record them both. When you have those calls with the client, you don't have to remember, oh shoot, I forgot to hit record and I really want to have all this. It will start it automatically. Now bear that in mind, that it's going to start recording automatically. But it can be really, really useful. And again, that free recording is part of Zoom. It's all, and that level is free. So it's you don't need to make an investment there either. You are starting up a new business and you are a business. So you need to be very judicious with the things that you purchase. It can be very exciting to buy the software or to be like, all right, in order to feel like a professional, I need a great looking office or whatever. Obviously the bare walls of my new office are not ideal. I'm working on it, but I'm doing work first because that's not a top priority. It's things that are going to get you work and get you more work and get you repeat clients. Those should be your priorities.
Absolutely.
So to loop back to the beginning, startup costs for being a copywriter, very, very low. You need a website, and that's about it. And then as you start to earn tons and tons and tons of money and work with tons and tons and tons of clients, then if you discover things that you want a little bit more help with, and frankly, not even all of them are business related. If you get busy, we were talking about this in the Facebook group a month or so ago. If you start to get busy and your schedule is full and you're earning good money, maybe you look into hiring yourself a housekeeper that comes in once in a while, because that takes away from your time. And quite frankly, the time you spend in your house, cleaning your house, would probably be better used working on client stuff, because the time-wise, you're paid better to work with your clients than you are to clean your own house.
Yeah. I bought a Roomba. I'm Roomba's #1 fan. It's the best. I need a clean work environment, and guess what? Roomba delivers. I wish they were paying me to say this. No, I forked over God knows how much for the one that sucks up the dirt automatically. Worth it. Yeah. Yep.
Kate's got a little robot buddy
Roomba.
Now.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep.
But yeah, so it's wait until you are earning regularly before you start investing in things. And then when you are, be judicious. Is this truly a pain point, or I kind of just want this software because it's shiny? Is this,
or because other people, is it a pain point for other people, but maybe not for you? Again, I bought the Roomba because yes, dirt is a pain point for me. Invoicing, not a pain point.
That's a great point. Yes. So we hope this was helpful, and actually I was going to say even more, but really just as much. We hope that we have saved you from making a bunch of purchases that you don't need to make.
You're welcome, bank account.
You're welcome. And too, if you find stuff that you're like, oh, maybe eventually, great. Take a note of the URL and look at it later. But make sure that you're really focused on earning that income and just being like any business, being smart about how you spend that money. Thanks for watching. Make sure you don't miss any tips, tools, or tactics for copywriters by clicking subscribe right now. And of course, you can always find us over at filthyrichriter.com. We'll see you next time.